Hello and welcome to World of Tanks with Papsikis. For the astute among you who noticed there was a slight interruption in your normal broadcasting, it was due to immigration and shipping all of my computer and recording equipment overseas, which takes some time to re-establish. Right, so having moved to a country with smaller server populations, you'll notice on both sides of the team rosters there's a whole bunch of bots indicated with that little square tank icon from the old, I don't know if it was called Tanks or Tanker games. So on each team there's 7, and you will notice that they are equal not only in number but in tier. So 7 tier 4 bots on this team, 7 tier 4 bots on that team. The bots also has a quite interesting play style, which if you get to know it, you can use to your advantage. They tend not to shoot, they tend not to stop to shoot, so you get the advantage of them missing quite a lot of shells, unless of course you track them. And they tend to stay in more or less an area, driving up and down a little bit. And if they do get spotted or spot you, they will drive forwards and backwards quite a bit, which gives you an opportunity to predict their movements and know where to pre-aim, especially when you've got a relatively long reload, like I do on this gun at this tier. Right, so first I try to get the shots down the long line in the middle, but when the enemy has deployed already, very few people actually cross the center line, so it's pointless to stand there waiting for a shell that won't come. I switch over to HE because I think the armor on my enemies that I should be facing here is quite bad, and you notice obviously the green indicator showing where you penetrate, and I get a penetrating shot, but unfortunately the second shot goes into the I believe it was the back of the tank there, so I didn't actually do any damage. Now I know the T-40 has quite a long reload, so I've got plenty of time to aim and take him out. Right, even though the scores are tied, you'll notice that we are entirely outflanked. The field, we have only got the one M5 Stuart and the Duck, which isn't really being useful, versus 4 enemies, so this is a dangerous situation. But fortunately this gun with the 171mm pen is very reliable and can go through the armor of any of the enemies, unless you hit them at a really strange angle. Right, you'll notice the enemy KV-1 already breaking in a kill. That guy, I've noticed him quite a few times, McDog, quite a good player. It is worth your while to actually memorize a few good players on these smaller servers so that you can know to expect quite a good game from them. It's a bit difficult to do that on the European or North American servers because there's just so many players, but on the Southeast Asia server and the Australian server there's only a handful of really skilled players, so it's like I said, worth trying to memorize some of their names, unless of course you subscribe to XVM, which I personally don't, because the people tend to abuse the stats and predict the game incorrectly and change their game behavior due to the stats, which is exactly what it's not meant to do. Right, got Thumper there, and now it's difficult to hit enemies through this destructible buildings, so I tend to fire several shells through the destructible buildings to try to get a penetrating shot, but unfortunately that one, just glancing off the tracks of the Valentine and not actually finding its mark. That one I knew more or less where he would be, so I could shoot through the destructibles, but unfortunately that low roll means I had to stand and take it. Another swing, which gave him the opportunity to give me my first damage of the game. Still some hit points remain, so not bad, and the Stuart wisely deciding to abandon this attack. Between myself and the Duck, we have both the gun and the armor to give him quite a hard time, but unfortunately for me, it didn't provide him with another shot. Here again, I'm shooting through the destructibles to try to improve my line of sight, because not only for spotting, but if you move your cursor over the enemy tank, it provides you with an outline, which you do not get if your cursor is on the destructible buildings. Right, so my plan here is to come up behind the KV-1. I see I can probably kill him in 2 shots, but I did not see the B1 in time. Fortunately, missed the shell in my direction, and I realized instead of providing them with the opportunity to catch me in a crossfire, I would fall back, handle the B1 first, and then turn my attention back to the KV-1. Now again, like I mentioned, the bots, when they spot you or get spotted, they move to cover and back again, so you could predict what he was doing here and take him out. Unfortunately, I managed to track the Jiha in the first shot, so the second shot I've got plenty of time to aim and take him out. The way he was moving his turret around told me that I wasn't spotted at the time, so I've got quite a bit of confidence to try to get up behind the KV-1, but unfortunately for me, in the process of getting there, I get spotted by the B1 to my left. Pretty soon, and this puts some pressure on me because now I have to hurry up and not provide the KV-1 with an opportunity to ambush me. Fortunately for me, he didn't respond fast enough and he was still looking in the wrong direction, and even though not fully aimed in, I did manage to take him out, which was my last real remaining threat because he was the only tier 5 and the only human player, and so that was the most important kill to get first of the 5. Securing my top gun. McDog also secured his top gun, and he managed to rake in over 2,000 damage in this game, so let's see if I can give that a go. He made a 1, obviously 2 shots for me, but somehow I managed to bounce the second and then present him with a couple of shots. Fortunately, his HE not doing much to me, and now I've got the opportunity to take out this B1 who had been spotting me. Now, this kind of shooting is very difficult with the limited arcs that's available, so I had to maneuver there, and unfortunately I was not aware of the M5, who then managed to come around, and again the bots will move forward and backward, giving you an opportunity to pre-aim. Unfortunately though, this guy is smart enough to actually move behind the building, so now I'm in a difficult position. Do I aim left and provide the B1 with an opportunity to shoot me, or aim right and provide the Steward? So if you find yourself alone, this is the kind of situation you want to avoid. Get out of here, get into a position where you can engage one enemy at a time, because that's going to maximize your chances. Right, so fortunately he did the predictable thing, got on cap. This is not always the case with bots. I haven't quite figured out what their logic is for getting on cap or not. And of course I miss a couple of shells in the B1's direction, but again, like the bots typically do, they'll go forward into cover, come out and present me with another shot, which I will fluff. Alright, unfortunately this one is quite easy, and I managed to take him out. Now this T80, I have no idea where he is or what his hit points are, but being a bot, he will typically not be too far from where he was. Unfortunately, I spot him, but while waiting for aim, unfortunately I wasn't able to secure that shot. Now the T80 has quite a good armor profile, quite good sloping, even though it's got low nominal armor. So if you find yourself against one of them, make sure you actually penetrate the shot. Right, so I secure the kill and manage to secure the game for my team. Have a look at the post-game plates. Ace Tanker, not surprisingly, I'm not going to go through the minor awards. Kolobanov for standing alone against 5 at the end, and the Pools medal, which is personally my first, for getting 10 kills. And interestingly, this was in a game with only 11 enemies, so that was quite nice to be able to secure 10 of them. The high caliber telling me that I managed to just outdo the damage on McDog there. Top gun, obviously. the team damage, you'll see that the Type 3 Chi Nu actually managed to do more than 1,000 damage, which is quite impressive on a tier 5 game. And there you can see the comparative damage of McDog there, 2,506 with his 7 kills. Very respectable game. Shout out to you, McDog. Well done there. Very good effort. And on the personal details screen, you'll see there's quite a few shells that I missed. 8 of my 33. That's over 25%. And that is due to my impatience and shooting before fully aimed in. So if you want to be a good TD player, which I am not, then I recommend you focus on getting your aim time down and obviously waiting for the aim to be fully aimed in, and spend some time getting to know the different maps, the different areas where you can shoot through, the different destructible buildings, so that you know where to aim even if you don't have the outline of your enemy. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found it useful. If you did, please hit subscribe. If you would like me to review one of your games, please hit subscribe and send it to me. And thank you for watching.